Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with JP8 Report coming to you today. Episode 52. What time is it, Mr. Biden? What time? Okay. Thank y'all for joining in today. Don't forget to subscribe, not just watch, as I'm holding a watch, but this is a serious matter. Not just to watch my podcast, but also subscribe to my podcast. I know people are watching, but I need more people to subscribe, because the more subscribers I have, it gives me an opportunity to advertise my podcast and get it out to more people. Okay, but I need subscribers, so please, if you're debating, just do it. Do it on Rumble. Do it on Rumble. Rumble's the best place to go for free speech. I also advertise. I broadcast on Podbean and YouTube also, but Rumble is the place to go. Okay, and I appreciate everybody that does. I really appreciate everybody that watches. But what time is it? What time is it? Let's see. What can we do with what time? Man, if there's anything that he could have done, that would have been the worst thing. But, I'm before I really get started with how he disrespected all of us and those the final American soldiers and Marines and sailors that died out of his mishandled evac plan. But I just want to remind y'all a few things. Okay, so, we're not going to be leaving hastily out of Kabul. Never will we leave hastily. He didn't say it exactly like that, but he did on July 8th. Okay, and then he also said that the Afghan army wouldn't collapse. So, why did Major General Donahue from the 82nd Airborne, the Deuces, America's strike force, in which I served with in Iraq in 2nd Brigade, why did he have to leave at nighttime from Kabul when we had the opportunity to occupy Kabul to do the redeployment of Americans? It's crazy, but Mr. President, and while you were at that memorial service and you were checking your watch all the time, these are 11 of the 13, okay? These men and women, they served with distinction. They did not need, and I understand being a soldier, what the sacrifices are that entail of doing that. But we were sold a bill of goods that was hard to keep accomplished. But the fact that a minimum 4 times you looked at your watch that you probably didn't even need to be wearing, they give a few moments of solitude and respect to those families of the servicemen that died, and you acted like you were too distracted and too busy to even be at that ceremony. That shows a lot about you and the people that work around you. And the disdain. And I understand your son was a veteran and he was an officer in the Army. But you know what? He passed away a long time ago. And your focus at that time should have been on the people that were in those caskets coming off the C-17 transport in Dover, Delaware. Why would you even reflect back on your son that died? He died of cancer, which sucks royally, because I lost my stepmom and my dad to cancer just 5 years ago. And I know how horrible a disease that is. But these men and women died in battle because of decisions that you made. They put their lives on the line because of the oath they took to their country, and they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And you had to continuously look down at your arm and check the time. I call BS on the whole situation. You're not qualified to be the president. You plagiarized yourself 3 times. Why are our memories that short in our country where we're going to allow people to continuously get away with doing stuff like that? I mean, you got caught plagiarizing 3 times. What is it? What's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This guy did it a 3rd time, and he continuously lies to the American public on July 8th about the mass evac, about the Afghan army, about leaving Americans behind. Oh my goodness, man. We don't leave Americans behind. They said we got about 90% of the people out of Afghanistan. 90%. And they said there's only about 100 Americans left. No, that number is in the hundreds. Hundreds. And we left them to those murderers. Good for them. And you better never acknowledge that they are the head of government in Afghanistan. They are not. They violently overturned a sitting constitutional government in Afghanistan. If you are so intent of holding people accountable for what happened on January 6th, why can't you hold them accountable for what they are doing to their country right now? That was a legitimate government sitting in the seat in Kabul. If they were so right, why didn't they run for their parliament offices? Why? They overturned law and negated the rights of Afghan civilians, women and children. They can't go to school anymore. They can't work anymore. They can't make music. I don't have the picture on here, but they were given a news broadcast, and 2 Taliban soldiers were standing right beside this news broadcaster with their fingers on their weapons to making sure he gave the right news out. And these people are the legitimate government in Afghanistan. You know, the legitimate government in Afghanistan is their sitting first vice president that didn't flee the country. He went to the Panjshir province with the National Resistance Front that we won't communicate. So do we want to get all those people murdered? I hope not. You're indecisive, lying, good-for-nothing people that surround yourself with. The gin, peppermint patty, sakis, yay! And just browbeat you to death in the middle of a news conference, make it look like your attentions your questions are no good, that you don't even need to be answering them. She needs to go. You know, they can exercise the 25th Amendment against the president because he doesn't understand. He does not know what's going on. He's not mentally there. Okay? It's my right as a civilian to say that. I'm an American citizen. I fought, and men around me had died that I know for that right. The year I spent in Iraq was the hardest year of my entire good-for-nothing life. And you don't want to know some of the stuff I saw. I was in Afghanistan for 13 months. Well, 13 months army time. It was like 342 days. I went out the wire several times, not that many, not as much as I did in Iraq, but I won't forget the time I spent there. We're just playing games with the American people. The Democrats are full of it. They need to go. I want to see the 300-person House of Representatives, at least a 300-person Republican House of Representatives elected in 2022. And I would love to see 60 people, 60 Republicans in the Senate. I doubt it, but I would love to see that. Well, all they're doing is trying to distract you from the truth. We have an incompetent leader that lies through his teeth and is trying to distract you from remembering what happened in Afghanistan, the fiasco he started. Yeah, we had to leave. 20 years they had to figure this out for themselves. But the way they left, all the equipment, the LBE, left behind equipment, $85 billion. Why in the world would we leave attack helicopters behind? Why would we leave UH-60 Blackhawks behind? Why would we leave strike aircraft behind? Why would we leave ASIPs, regardless if they could use them without the crypto or not? Why would we leave that? Why would we leave Humvees, Up Armor Humvees? Night vision goggles. Oh my goodness. The stories I could tell you about people losing night vision goggles. NVGs are more critical than weapons. I saw when I was stationed at Fort Sill back in the 90s, they locked down an entire battalion because a set of NVGs washed out of a Humvee on a training exercise. And they were in the field almost 2 weeks before they said, we'll never find them again. And we're leaving them all behind. No, not leaving. We left. Okay? We left. We left all this equipment in Jalalabad, in Serrano, Kaf, Bagram, Kabul. I mean, they walk into the PAC terminal in Kabul, and the Taliban were showing the pictures of it. There's monitors and computers all over the place. Why weren't they smashed? So you have possibility, unless they absolutely wiped the hard drives before they left, which I seriously doubt. Now you have the list of people who left. And so all they have to do is go back to those residences and find out if there's any left behind people there. Where are all those Americans at? Are they making a treacherous trip all the way to the Khyber Pass to get out, or north? You know, it's September. It's starting to snow. And you know, countless Taliban checkpoints all over the place. There's a report this morning that a U.S. congressman is downrange right now. He went to Tajikistan, and evidently it looks like he might have crossed the border to go find an Afghan woman and 4 children that they knew and pull them out of country. Why does and you know, you can say what you want. And I put it on someone's Facebook post this morning. It's uncommon valor. Why? And if you don't understand that, you have a lot of learning to do. And if you want to watch a good movie about uncommon valor, there's a Patrick Swayze movie from the 80s, and it was Gene Hackman in it. And I think it's one of Patrick Swayze's first movies. Okay. Why would an American civilian have to put his life on the line because our administration wouldn't do the right thing? Are we really fooling ourselves with this administration? Where's Harris in the cabinet with her 25th Amendment? She won't become the president. The 25th Amendment, what the 25th Amendment does is removes the powers of the president and makes the vice president the acting president. And then it can be renewed. And the only way he can be removed from office is through the House of Representatives. The only ways the president can be removed from office is resignation, death, and impeachment. And he's got the Congress so wrapped around his fingers right now that either they don't want him to leave because of Kamala Harris, or he's got him wrapped around his fingers. But how do we get ourselves in this situation right here? We got Biden nobody likes. We have Harris that nobody likes. We have Pelosi that nobody likes. We have Patrick Leahy, 87, 85 years old, that nobody knows about. His dad was an admiral in the Navy. I don't understand. I don't understand how we can blindly let people like that. Now, this is an absolute reason why we need term limits. Absolute reason. Because we got these old people that serve decades in office and nothing to show for it. They're just rubber stamp on paper. Their staffers write stuff and they rubber stamp it, and they have not a foggy clue. Bin Laden didn't even want to go after and take out Bin Laden. We would still be dealing with him today. Where's Ahmed al-Zawahiri? Why isn't he dead? What, is he legitimate now too? I tell you, the Biden administration, if they know what's good for them, they better not legitimize the Taliban government and start putting aid in there. This is crazy, that what we're going through. This is crazy. 2,461 Americans are dead over the last 20 years in Afghanistan. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking, but he's outside right now. I'm not letting him in. And in 20 years, there's been battles. From the battle of the first, when the Navy SEAL Roberts was killed in Tora Bora, that led to a massive battle. To when Marcus Luttrell, him and his SEAL team, Mike Murphy's SEAL team, got ambushed in Afghanistan. From a year later, there after Bin Laden was killed, the SEAL Team 6 was on a mission in I forgot the name of the operation. Oh my goodness, I can't forget it. Man, I can't believe I forgot it. But their Chinook got shot down on a top secret mission that nobody should have known about. How did that happen? Man, men have died in Afghanistan, and now people are saying, for what? They're looking at the Democrats for the decision for the hasty retreat and evac of Afghanistan. Why did we give up Bagram Air Base? The most secure air base and probably outside the United States. We could have easily got people out of there. Before we left. I mean, I know people say we have to go, but we could have made an agreement with the Afghans about keeping Bagram Air Base even after all of our combat troops left most of the area around Afghanistan. And like in Germany, where we had our bases after World War II, we could have done the same thing in Afghanistan. Paid them money every year, like we have Guantanamo Bay. We have an unlimited lifetime lease to Guantanamo Bay. People don't know that. They think we just put prisoners as an active military base. We could have done the same thing in Bagram. I'm sure the people that live there wouldn't have minded. It's secluded from the rest of the country. But the Taliban was smart. They would have got involved in their political and got elected to office and went from there. But they didn't. They did an armed overthrow of the legitimate government in Afghanistan, and they were wrong for it. And the Biden administration supported them in what they were doing. I don't care what they're saying in the press. They're just trying to distract people. Man. And people were talking about the Afghans, their army collapsed in the last days before everything that happened in Bagram. I mean, not Bagram, in Kabul. But you know, there were 65,000 Afghan soldiers that were killed in the last several years defending their country. They paid a heavy price. But the political the political aperture in Kabul, I guess, wasn't there to be able to man, wonder what's going on outside. I'm gonna have to check it out in a minute. I may have to end my podcast early because these guys are barking up a storm. But you know, why is the Biden administration lying to what's going on? What is the why are they covering it up? Why are they getting the press to change the subject? They don't want to talk about the conduct of our incompetent president in Washington, D.C. Remember, 80 million people voted for Biden. You know, if stuff would have been legitimately broadcasted during the election cycle, he wouldn't have got those votes. So the press is complicit in the election of Joe Biden. They are. They won't admit it, but it is so far in the dugout, right there, batting for him, supporting him on. Man, I'm frustrated. All I'm thinking about is guys that bled, girls that bled and died in Afghanistan. For us to leave like that is unmistakable, that something like that could have happened in our country, and we shouldn't have allowed that to continue on. And I'm telling you right now, if anything, in the next few weeks, General Austin should be gone, General Milley should be gone, General McKenzie should be gone, General Milley should be gone if I didn't say his name, and President Biden, I mean, whether you like her or not, Harris should be the next president. Because, oh man, I can't believe I even said that in one sentence. But Biden is incompetent, and he does not need to be there. He's just going to make matters worse and worse and worse for our country. And we're going to get ourselves in an armed conflict, whether it be in Ukraine or in Eastern Europe or in Taiwan or in Korea, because now our adversaries look at us and say they're not going to stand up for what's right and defend their treaties. I hope it doesn't happen, but the way they're going, that's their intent. That is their intent. And if they go that way, I tell you one thing that's going to happen. We're going to see more of this. More of this. We can play our silly games and it's just Joe Biden. He's 78, 79 years old. You know what? Lives are on the line. No matter how you look at it. I did it for 25 years of my life, and I would do it again. But you know what? We need competent leadership. We need to reform the way our flag officers function. Matter of fact, we need to reduce the amount of flag officers we have in the United States military. We have too many generals and admirals. We don't need them all. We don't. And until we grasp that reality, it's going to continue to happen. You get a bunch of yes men in intelligence services and yes men in the military, and our fellow soldiers in arms are going to get killed. But they're going to do it doing their job to their country and the oath that they swore to our country. Because that's what we do. That is what we do. But we need competent leadership. I'm telling you, Biden needs to go. What time is it? What time is it, Mr. Biden? What time is it? And if you don't know, we're in standard time right now. So advance 8.5 hours, and that's what time it is in Kabul when people are hiding for their lives because you wouldn't rescue them. That's why I'm mad. So right now, it's almost 7 a.m. Central Time in Texas. Okay? 8.5 hours from now, it is 1, 2, 3. It's 3:30 in the afternoon in Kabul. And some person that supported us or some passport holding U.S. citizen is in hiding because they're afraid the Taliban are going to kill them. And you did this to them. I'm out.